when someone has brought an opportunity to me and say like, I think you would be great to do this, like, of course, initially I'm like, nah, like I don't want to do that. But then when I do it, I'm like happy I did it. So I think it's just about pushing yourself, you know, challenging yourself. That's what I've done to kind of grow and go from like being a writer to like interviewing people to actually being out there like Rolling Loud and South by covering to like holding down a whole column on Hip Hop DX like by myself. So I think it's just about, you know, being able to challenge yourself and trusting yourself that you can do it.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I've learned as far as how the industry is changing is the different places or parts of the industry that you're in are very different, and you learn how fast it changes. Like even when it comes to like artists, I see that artists like to be very focused in one area, but at the same time you help yourself grow by understanding all the different pieces of the industry. And by understanding different pieces of the industry, it helps you grow even faster, which also takes the music to a whole nother level at the same time. Like, I started off with the graphics side of it, and then I moved into, you know, an assistant side of it, and then moving into the media side and understanding all the different pieces, understands how I can better help an artist, but at the same time, better help myself to help another artist. And I think for artists, if you guys understand all the different moving pieces and not just stay zoned in on one thing, you'll understand how to take your music to a whole nother level. So that's what I see when it comes to how the music or the industry changes.
I think like there was a point in my career where I was like, I'm a Capricorn, so I was just, so we're, you know, what they say is like, you know, we're all about climbing that mountain. Like, okay, like, what's the next big thing? What am I gonna do? And there's a little bit of that in me still, you know, but I think there was a point where I had lost what I thought at the time was like my dream job. I was working as a full-time radio host on what was Boom 103 in Philly, and I was, you know, competing with like the big, he's like the flex of over there, and I was just like, okay, like I made it, you know what I'm saying? And then in 4 short months, they were just like, oh, well, actually, we're switching things up and it's over. And I got really, really depressed, and I was just like, you know, I realized like I attached so much of who I was with what I was doing that I didn't really even have a brand. I was just behind a big brand. You know what I mean? I was so excited that I had this big logo behind me, but then it was like, all right, but without that, what do you do, you know? And with that, your fate is so attached to the next job and the next thing, and that so after that experience, I was kind of like off that. I realized that it's really about building your name and building your value and building your brand, and more so even during COVID when everybody was like, all industries got a lot smaller and everybody was losing their job, and I kept excelling because of Hala the brand, you know, like, oh, she, you know, she won't miss a step, hire her. Oh, she, you know, she'll do the job, you know, she'll go on live, or she'll, you know, edit the stuff, she'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. Hire her. And I realized in that moment that I really did spend a lot of time after that point when I made that shift in my head building the Hala brand opposed to building somebody else's. And, you know, I'm always going to want to be on, you know, whatever it is, like Fox. Now I'm on Fox Soul, which is great, you know, but at the same time, that's never, if it happens, it happens. It's like when you have a breakup, it's like if my ex come back, cool, but if not, you know, I got my own thing going on right here. So I think it's just really that, like, if you're a creative, learn how to create your opportunity, stop looking for someone to give it to you, you know?
Or what you guys have mentioned, me personally, I felt sometimes we all have self-doubt, right, in our own careers, and sometimes we look back, wait a minute, is it worth me putting up money in? Is it worth me, you know, doing so much and not getting back in return? But looking at, you know, again, I respect my team. I respect those who really support you. You guys, if you have a support team, that's key. And for artists out there watching, listening right now, as we spoke about, talking about this, I feel this is crucial. You have to have a support team as an artist or as a brand. And down the line, when you have self-doubt, you look back and look at your history. So wait a minute, you have your moments. We all have our days, right? But down the line, when you go back and you say, wait a minute, let me sidetrack and look at all that I went through to where I'm at today. You appreciate even the smallest steps, people. The smallest steps, you have to appreciate that, and just applaud yourself every day you're alive. Right. All that. Oh, yeah. That's all. That's in general.
All right, so let's take 3 questions. 3 questions. Anybody got a question?
My question is pretty much was for y'all, but anybody, how do you prevail and just continue to push through, like, when you get those discouraging moments, or you might feel like it's that one personal thing that you keep thinking of, and you're like, damn, I know it ain't me, but how do you just continue to push and elevate and embrace the good energy and conversation?
I think for me, I don't take nothing as a loss. Like, I really respect what I do, and I respect how people give their energy towards the things that I've been through, and I've been through a lot in life to get here. So everything that I do from those points is a win. I can't lose. So if you get in that mindset that everything is not a loss, like you just have to win. It's not taking an L. You just figuring out. You took 10 years to get here. It's like you still gotta grow. You might not get the answer right now, so you just gotta keep on growing. Don't ever sit there and think like, yo, I can't do it. I thought I couldn't do tours. God with Scott. Now I'm doing 8 cities, 12 days. I couldn't do Waffles weekend. She said, yes, we can. It's like, when you got a team too, and people believe, it's like you can do anything, bro. Like, and that's how life been working for me. It's like, I'll sit there and be like, hey, I think I can do this. And you're as good as your team. Your team saying like, yeah, they running. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now you just go. You get the right people around you, you get the right energy around you, you can win at anything. And it's not a loss. Even if you don't hit that milestone, you still can get there. It's just about your team and the energy. And never taking L's. You never took an L, you just learned from it.
That's a fact.
Right.
Out of all the experiences and the credentials and everything that you guys been through, what is like an average budget you would tell independent artists to scoop up so they could like invest into their craft or whatnot?
It really depends on where you are at that point of your artistry, honestly.
And it depends on what you're looking for too.
Right.
Also that. Also, there's things like distribution deals that any artist should study too with offers.
Right. I know that you're looking for a very specific answer, because if I was in your shoes, I would want that specific answer. But at the same time, it really does depend on where you are in your artistry. Where you are as a brand new person who's been in the music industry, music mindset, and now stepping into it, is someone who's going to spend a lot more money, because you're having to go into media, you're having to put time into the studio, you're having to put...
Oh no, you misunderstood. When I say for the services you guys provide, not what we need to...
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Even still, honestly, with that, because it depends on the level of level of media that you're going after at the same time, and then at the point of what you're looking for. If you're an artist who's getting ready to push out a release versus just trying to constantly stay relevant, those things matter as to the budget that you're gonna need. But on an average, from probably an independent media company, you're probably looking at anywhere between 500 or better versus a major company. You're looking at a couple hundred to a couple of thousand. It's just being very real, but you have to understand what it is that you're going after these media companies for, at what point you're going after them in order to propel your artistry.
That's a solid and feasible threshold also.
I also want to just say this, it might not be the answer you're looking for, but in the long run, you'll appreciate it. Money's not the only thing that you're valuable for. Every time an artist comes to me, I'm like, all right, you're an artist, what else do you do? What other skills have you picked up in the last few years being an artist? I can use you the same way you can use me. You know what I mean? And it might not be on the top platform that I'm on, but I probably have 7 million other things that I have going on that will bring you exposure for free. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just about like kind of, again, creating your opportunity and getting where you fit in. Like.
So if I just may say one thing to that, I 100% agree with that. At the same time, we all, not just us, but for them, have to be very careful and mindful of the bartering system. Because because what happens is we know what we're great at and we know how to work those plays, but at the same time, we also really all have bills to pay and families to take care of. Right. So being extremely mindful of bartering and making sure that it makes sense on both ends, not just on your end.
Absolutely, but just coming into the industry, if you're just starting out, instead of starting to dish money everywhere and try just for trial and error, figure out how you can be useful and learn, and then spend the money where it makes sense. Yeah. That's all I'm really saying, you know.
I just wanted to give an answer to that last question, because I've been doing music for about 12, 13 years. And I've had what some people may consider little success, but it's been big success for me. And a great piece of advice that I've gotten that helped me keep going is to discover your why and feed off of that. Because when you have a real reason to doing something, no matter what anybody in the world tells you, you're not gonna stop because there's something real that's fueling that. So you discover your why and you feed off of that, and nobody can stop you.
Definitely. There was a gentleman who had his hand up for a minute.
So, you guys were talking about contracts, right? So for someone, for some individuals, they might not have access to like lawyers to draw up those contracts. Is there like a source or some type of like network to tap in for like these type of contracts?
Legal Zoom, Rocket Lawyer, DocuSign.
Google is your best friend.
Google is your best friend.
Everything.
And also, just like she said earlier, like just get it in writing. Text message counts.
Something.
Email counts.
Support.
Yeah. So just get it in writing somehow, some way. Every time somebody voicemail, I'm like, what was that? I didn't hear it. Text me that shit.
All right, let's take 2 more questions.
So solid, though.
We got a question. We got 1 more. We got 2 more questions.
What advice would you give to artists like transitioning from doing music for fun to like actually going into like the business and the real industry?
One thing I would say is what the gentleman right here just said. Know your why. 100% of knowing your why. If you don't know why you're wanting to transition, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yes.
1 more question.
Wait, just can I just say one more thing for him to, for her? I just also, going off of the know your why, also understand that it's a whole industry. It's not just the artist that you see on the mic. Like there's 100, just like any other industry, there's 100 positions that again, you have probably learned a bunch of things and have a bunch of skills that are valid for. So you might be a manager at heart, you might be a producer at heart, you might end up at work